This is the Unstarving Musician podcast. I'm your host, Robonzo. The podcast features conversations with me, indie music artists, and industry professionals, and it's all intended to help other indie music artists be better at marketing, business, the creative process, and all the other things that empower us to do more of what we love. Make music. Hello, friends, loved ones, creative people. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. It's a pleasure, as always, to be in your earbuds, headphones, car speakers, your Sonos, your TV, whatever you're listening on your computer. It's an honor. That's it. It's an honor. My guest, Tanya Winch, and I are mutually acquainted with Brian Wolff, the solo artist, songwriter, and host of the Greetings from Wherever, a podcast about artistic inspiration and the creative process. Brian introduced us. Thanks, Brian. Our conversation is extra casual. I recall having a really nice time just getting to know Tanya, and in the process, we meander through her journey in music, art, and life. Before I get to that, I have to share some exciting news. Bandzoogle included the Unstarving Musician on a list of 14 podcasts musicians should be listening to in 2021, and it's posted on their blog. I'll put a link in the show notes, but if you want to check out the blog, there's a great list of 14 podcasts, including the Unstarving Musician, that you should be checking out if you're a musician or if you're just a big indie music fan junkie and want to know about the things that musicians want to know about and need to know about. You might be interested too, so bandzoogle.com, just go to their blog, and it is a very recent post. I'm so honored and pleased to be included. They put me in a list of good company, so thank you to all the peeps at Bandzoogle and all of you who support this podcast. I super appreciate you. So Tanya and I, we chat about her latest single, latest at the time we spoke anyway, which is called Cupid. We also talk about her vinyl collection, her day job outside of music, her beginnings in LA in music, the making of her video for Cupid, her release strategy, and more. She also informed me that she has a couple of really talented brothers, Sam and Adam Winch, who independently record music, and you can find them on Spotify. We also talk about this podcast and my book, The Unstarving Musician's Guide to Getting Paid Gigs, because Tanya asked me what in the heck got me wanting to even create this podcast. So she seemed genuinely interested and very, very kind about listening to that story. But anyway, I thought it would be fun to leave here for you to enjoy as well. She plays guitar, teaches voice, piano, and guitar. I'm pretty sure she owns a pair of tap shoes. She's really high energy, which you'll hear, yet she shares a moment of real humility and vulnerability that I left in this interview for you to hear. And so I could say she's totally worthy, and so are you, whatever it is that you're feeling unworthy of. Stop that. As a fan of the podcast once told me, sometimes we have to accept whatever good things life gives us and embrace them. Tanya and I did a live stream of this whole conversation, which is unedited, so it's a longer version of it. If you're interested, I will put a link in the show notes. It's on the Unstarving Musician YouTube channel, and you can find out about everything Tanya is up to at tanyawinch.com. Here is me and Tanya Winch. So are you in Austin today?
I am.
Okay.
I am in Austin, Texas. It is very dreary out. We've had really kind of weirdly bad weather ever since the Snowmageddon. Did you hear about our terrible?
Yeah. I have family in Arlington and a lot of friends in Austin and elsewhere. So yeah,
we lost almost all of our trees in our backyard, which is a bummer because they were 13 years of growth trees.
Yeah,
that were then they're gone.
I'm sorry.
I am too. But I guess what that means is that then we get to have something new.
Well, yes, I guess you will have something new after all that. It's a little dreary here. We're actually hoping for rain. We're in a dry season. I mean, it's the dry season here in Panama, but I'm sorry. It's the rainy season now, but it continues to look like the dry season, but it looks like it might rain today. So we'll see.
And you probably need it.
Yeah.
You probably need the rain.
We kind of do. We kind of do. We're in a tropical environment where we are in a beach community, but we're also in an area called the Arco Seco, which is gets a lot less rain than other parts of the country. But
Oh, okay.
it's been kind of rainy season typically involves a lot of wind and, of course, dry season and no rain. And rainy season was supposed to start like, I guess, end of February, maybe at the end of March, but here we are mid-May and it's rained maybe a couple of times. So,
oh, that's terrible. So basically you're in a drought.
well, not yet officially, but hopefully we don't go that way. So let's get to you.
Okay.
Oh, you wanted to tell your family. I don't know if you're going to be able to text them while we talk here.
What do we do?
Okay, so I just put it in chat there for you. So I think they'll see it there. So
this might be, let's see, live stream, send.
Cool.
Okay.
So.
I'm still there. Hi. I didn't lose you. Because, sometimes I'm not allowed to say I'm bad at computer anymore.
Who tells you you're not allowed?
My partner.
Okay.
He was like, you can't really say you're bad at computer when you can do the stuff that you can do. You can say that you're not comfortable and you don't like it.
Yet still they vex you from time to time, those computers, right?
Always.
All right. So let's talk about you before we spend all of our time on this whole live streaming thing. But I was listening to your Texas Ladies Have Heart Spotify playlist, and I only heard a couple songs, but I love it. I confess to be, now I don't know if this really, if your playlist qualifies, but when I listened to the first song, I'm like, okay, this falls into my love of chick rock. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's got everything from chick rock to R&B to gospel to straight up country. Anything that I have heard from Texas women where I have actually gone, wow, I really like this song. Including some people that I've sung backup for, other people that I've just seen live and have known of for a long time, and Patty Griffin, who, though I don't know her at all, is like, I think the most famous of the people that are on it, but she's a Texas musician. So I was like, I'm putting you on even if you won't care that you're on little old Tanya Winch's Ladies. Texas Ladies Have Heart. But I still I just think there are so many phenomenal female singer-songwriters. There are also just phenomenal singer-songwriters in the world, but in Texas in particular, I find there are a lot of really groovy women who just are not heard of very often. And so I kind of wanted to put it out to the people that I know all over the states, not just here in this state, but all over the United States, saying, you guys, this is good stuff.
Oh yeah. And it's, it's a lot of work to get heard of anyway. So I'm sure that, well, hey, tell them that the Unstarving Musician is a fan. So.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for being a fan. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we talk about Cupid. When did you release this new single?
Released it on the 13th of February, the day before Valentine's.
Oh, nice.
I know. And we decided to do it.
I know.
That was perfect timing. We decided to do it then just simply because the song is named Cupid. It's Cupid Give Me Courage, but it just takes a lot to say that. So we just decided to just cut it down to Cupid. And I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. It's also been a little bit of a roller coaster ride in the best way. Very exciting. Huge plunges of so how like you're going over the edge, and that's how it's felt. But at the same time, it's been really great. I love the fact, you probably know this as well as I do, but I love the fact that I don't have to release an entire album any longer. I can slowly but surely release one single. And when that one is done, and I've done all of the ramping up that I can do and all of the marketing and et cetera, then I can move on to the next one that's completed, because it's pretty tough to have a full-time job, also teach, and not only play live, but record and get that music out. So
yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I think it's smart the way consumption is a popular word to use these days, but the way consumption patterns have changed, and for music in particular, I heard it referred to as repackaging lately, like take all the songs out of an album and repackage them into playlists, which maybe you did a little bit of that with your playlist, but that's what people like to do now, unless they have a record player and like to sit and listen to some actual vinyl, which, hey, nothing will preclude you from throwing your next half a dozen singles onto a vinyl album if you want to sell that to your people. So
it's so true. We do have almost our entire living room is a 12-foot wall of vinyls.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Oh, you would love, love, love it. There's so much to choose from. Oh my goodness. Everything from ABBA, no joke, all the way to the craziest.
Say it, ZZ Top. Is that the last
right,
one? No,
exactly. and also a ton of classical and gobs and gobs of jazz. So I have to say, I don't even know if this is interesting to you, and I'm just going to go for it. But I didn't have anything to do with it. My partner, he got at half-price books. Do you guys? I'm sure you don't have half-price books, but you probably
we do not. But I know of half-price books.
So he went in and found this Pointer Sisters album, their very first album. Wow. Brought it home for 99 cents. Didn't know what he was getting. Put it on, and it was like one of those Memorex things where we were just blown away by their vocals are so amazing. I almost want to say fastidious, because this is not even just like the pop Pointer Sisters. This was like gospel and jazz mixed together with like all these counter harmonies going on all over the place. It was so amazing. Anyway, so just wanted to let you know.
Well, if you don't, do you remember the name of the album off the top of your head?
Oh my gosh. No, I can email it to you when I'm done.
Please do.
Okay, I will.
People are going to maybe want to check it out.
No, I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm going to email you everything just so that you can see it. And I hope you can get a copy. I'll also tell you which my favorite song.
Sweet. I like it. All right. Let's get into some personal stuff here.
Okay.
It's not that personal. It's all on your website, but you're from Wisconsin?
I am. I'm from Wisconsin. Yeah, I was born in Minnesota, moved to Philadelphia for the very early part of my life, and then lived the grand majority of my childhood life in Wisconsin. I always will consider myself a Wisconsinite. I love that state. I don't want to live there.
It's fun to visit, right?
It's fun to visit, and I visit all the time. That's also where my day job that, pays my mortgage, that is where it's located. So I go back and forth quite often.
Yeah. What company is that, if I may ask?
It's my mother started a company called Winch Financial. We're advisors. Okay. So it's kind of crazy that a musician would also be working in financial planning and wealth management, etc. But that's what we do. The whole family.
Well, hey,
and then there are 20 people that work in the company as well. Both of my brothers are also excellent musicians and have wonderful, wonderful music on Spotify. If in fact you feel like looking it up, Sam Winch and Adam Winch.
I think I read about them and perhaps peruse some of their stuff today. Yeah, I read that you had a musical family, and now it really resonates here because you're talking about your brothers, because I was like, oh, her father was a musician, and like it sounds like the whole household was pretty much.
Yes, definitely. We all were. Oh, here's the album. Here's the album. Did you see Dog in the mirror? This is the album. Can you see it?
Yeah, what's it called? The Pointer Sisters?
I think it's just called The Pointer Sisters.
Nice. Yeah. To look it up. I don't have a record player at the moment, but I was saying I was jealous because when we moved here, I gave my small collection I gave a lot of it away, but I gave my record player to a good friend in San Jose, California, where we moved from, and left some albums there. So
are you sad?
I am. I want to get another one. We may move
I
again
hope
though.
you
We may move to maybe we're toying with the idea of moving to Mexico. So
Oh, wow.
whatever we do next year, whether it's here or Mexico or whatever, I think I'm going to get another record player and just kind of start over.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
Because it
So,
is fun and it's a completely different sonic feel.
oh yeah. I also read that you spent a lot of time in LA. So it read like this is kind of where you really started working into your own in the music business.
Cut
And
my
then,
teeth.
yeah, and then you've had some time in Austin now. So can you kind of talk about um, the transitions that happened? And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just LA to Austin, or maybe it's the whole thing. Can you just kind of share what that's been like, and yeah, whatever you got.
Of course. So, after graduating from college, where I did a couple of open mics, I did a couple of coffee house open mics there. I did not play any instruments, but I did have a pair of tap shoes. And I had a friend who played piano. And that's the open mics that I did. And it was really fun, but I never thought that it was actually going to be something that I would do. Sing, that is, as a singer and or as a writer, etc. Moved to Los Angeles and I was so ungodly bored. I have tons of energy as a human. And I was like, whoa, I'm really bored. I'm really bored. I don't know what to do. So I ended up joining an a cappella group with two other women, which was, again, an accident. And like all of these things were not done intentionally. I just was bored. I was bored at university, and someone was like, you sing all the time. You should go do the coffee house. I said, okay. I was bored in Los Angeles, and someone was like, I'm thinking of, we need another person for our band. Would you be interested in auditioning? And I was like, yeah, why not? The thing was, I always was a singer, and I was always really interested in harmony. And we sang as a family in harmony all the time. In fact, you're a grand old flag, you're a high flying flag. That one was the very first song that I ever started to learn harmony on when I was a little kid driving in the car with my parents. So the point is, I was bored. That is the only reason why I even started doing what I was doing. It was never with the intention of being the age that I am now and with the body of work that I have. I did not think that that was going to be my life.
Wow.
But it turned into my life.
Well, it's a little funny. Your dad was not funny, but your dad was an a cappella singer too, wasn't he?
He was. He definitely was. I mean, he was in a couple of men's choirs where they actually even like dressed up and did the hand stuff and etc. And my grandfather on my paternal side, my grandfather was a band director.
Wow.
One of my uncles is still entirely a musician. That's the only way he makes money on my dad's side as well. And then everybody on my mom's side, one of my cousins is also in a band and etc. So there's just a lot of music flowing around in our lives. And it's respected, which I think is kind of not necessarily usual for the average kid. But when I was growing up, everybody respected in our family. Music meant something. It wasn't just like, oh, well, you got to take band or you got to sing in chorale. It was respected. It was something that actually meant something because you could do it until you can't move your fingers anymore. So that's why we did it. Never with the intention of trying to get on Spotify with Cupid. Never. Anyway, so I was in the a cappella band in Los Angeles for a really long time. It was super fun. Cut my teeth there. Did everything from Corona ads with our band to playing sold out shows at House of Blues on Wednesday night. You know, I mean, we did it. We really did it. And this is back in the time when there weren't emails, there weren't texts, There was no Facebook. We sent, this is not a joke, flyers.
Used to do that. I heard someone say, maybe you'll remember these days. I heard someone say that, yep, I used to live at Kinko's at night, late at night, and my son would help me, like the next day, like folding these and putting stamps on them to mail.
We had stickers. We did have to have computer chops back then, even just to make all of our stickers for every single, because we weren't going to handwrite them, of course. But you know the pain I'm talking about. It took planning. It took serious effort to,
It's a different kind of pain today.
It is a different kind of pain.
Computers and all that social media stuff. Exactly. Trying to figure out if we can do a live stream.
Right. It's funny though. It was so, imagine. Well, I can't even imagine. Anyway, so I did that for a really long time. Lots and lots of folding and licking of stamps. Had a great time doing it. When the band ended up folding, it was more of a, I don't want to tour around in a smelly old van anymore. Yeah. It wasn't because there was no love. It was rather we had gotten to a point where we were just not 20 any longer, and it wasn't as fun. And all of us wanted a new car. You know what I mean? Everybody had been putting all their money into, and we were driving around in junkers, and I was just living with 4 people. And so it just got to a point where we were just like, Anyway, ended up quitting.
The whole band?
Quit everything music.
Oh, you did?
I did. And about 6 months later, my plants looked amazing. They were so lush and green and beautiful because all I was doing was caring for them. And I was so bummed out. So I took a songwriting class, and I'd been writing songs all along, but I took a songwriting class with UCLA, and then with Harriet Schock, who is a Grammy-nominated songwriting teacher. Well, she's a Grammy-nominated songwriter who also teaches songwriting. Loved it. Ended up meeting some awesome new people. Joined about 5 other bands. Ended up doing. I just sang backup. Ended up doing a opening for Shelby Lynn. Do you remember Shelby Lynn?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the name familiar to me. Like it's a guy, right?
No, it's a woman.
Sorry. See, I don't know. I was about to say, I don't have a visual in my head, but the name is totally familiar. Now, wait, See if I get this part right. Was it country or progressive country?
It was alt country. Yep. Yeah. And this was before anybody really knew what alternative country was. Mm-hmm. It was probably, I don't even want to say the year, but anyway, so she was remarkable. And it ended up that she was going to be playing a Tonight Show.
Oh yeah. You sang backup for her on that?
Yeah. So
now which Tonight Show, this is Leno, right?
Yes, it was Leno. That's how long ago it is. But yes, it was Leno. And that was so exciting and wonderful. And when that happened, I kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what? I think this is the pinnacle of what I need out of Los Angeles. I don't.
Did they film it? Is that filmed in Los Angeles? I don't even remember.
It was. Okay. The new Tonight Show, I think, is with Jimmy Fallon. I think
New York.
New York. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
But I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with what's happening with my career here. And I was not happy in a bunch of other ways. So I was like, I think it's time for me to move to Austin. And the rest is history. I started really playing guitar when I moved to Austin, but otherwise I didn't really play guitar in Los Angeles. I only used it to write songs.
You can't live in Austin and not play guitar if you're in music, right? You just made me imagine like, wow, if I actually ever go live in Austin, I will probably have to, like, I kind of play a little guitar. Like I can write stuff on it and kind of muddle through a demo for a real guitar player.
Yeah.
But I can imagine myself if I was there, like, okay, I guess I got to learn.
I had to. And what an exciting adventure. I hope you do move here. I hope you do have to learn how to play guitar, because it's also one of those things that's it never ends. There's so much to learn.
Oh, sure. I've been playing drums all my life, and I feel like a beginner when I start like trying to learn new things. And I totally am. I have this one little thing I kind of know pretty well, and that's it. Yeah. In the grand scheme.
Yeah, it's crazy. And another thing that's fantastic about music, in my opinion, is that it's one of those things where it always works your brain.
Yeah, sure.
So no matter what, you always are keeping your brain alive and learning new things. So it keeps your brain healthy. It keeps your mind healthy. Almost every musician I know looks younger than their age by like sometimes 15 years.
I need to practice more.
No, I don't know how old you are. I wouldn't even hazard a guess, but I would bet, I mean, you look just vibrant. And I think that's what I mean
Thank
by...
you. I'm really tired this afternoon too, so that's good.
You are? Oh, maybe it's where how the sun is hitting you. It looks great. You look great. Vibrant is, I guess that's what I mean by people look younger. Musicians look younger than their age. And I think it's because they still are kind of like excited. There's exciting things. I got things to learn. I have places to go. I want to play. Let's go listen to this live music. Like instead of just, clonk, clonk through life.
Right.
So anyway.
I like that. And so you teach voice as well, right? That's kind of one of your big things, right? Yeah. And you teach some piano and guitar as well?
I do.
And you've been doing this for a long time now, right?
Yeah. Since I think my first year here. I've been here almost
like 15 years or something?
15 and a half years.
Okay.
Right? No, 16 years this year. So yeah, I've been here about 16 years, which is a long time. And so I bet I've been teaching for about 15 of them.
And were you doing mostly the one-on-one thing, or were you ever doing anything sort of, well, maybe you were doing some online too, but has it always been one-on-one, or were you doing like some sort of thing where you're trying to scale it? And okay, so you've been doing the one-on-one thing for the most part, always in person, or did you do also like some Skype lessons or anything like that? Zoom
I've
lessons?
done all of it. Yep. But I'm telling you, there's like some sort of weird karmic something going on in my life, because I did not set out to be a teacher. I did not even know that could be something that I would do. And there's this amazing woman in town. Her name is Mandy Rowden. Mm-hmm. And she started a group called Girl Guitar Austin. Saw me playing accidentally one hot, like 105 degree, 80% humidity Texas afternoon, sun beating down on us. And she said, "Hey, any chance you'd be willing to teach songwriting for me? I like your stuff. I think you're a really good songwriter." And I said, "Sure, but I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done it. You probably shouldn't pay me." And she said, "Oh no, I'm going to pay you so that if I have to, I can fire you." I was like, "You go, girl." So I liked her already, because I knew then that she would be really honest with me as to whether or not I could do a good job. So I co-taught with her to begin with. And then slowly but surely started teaching vocal harmony, started teaching the vocal portion of it. And then it got so big because it was so fun. Those were all group classes, and they were live, but they were group size anywhere from 5 to 25. So sometimes I would be teaching 25 people, sometimes just 5, so in between there as well. And it got so big, and I got so busy with work that I finally was like, I cannot do this anymore in the group setting, but I can teach one-on-one. And so I continued teaching one-on-one then.
Cool. Now, how has the whole pandemic thing been? Did it change what you do dramatically, or?
It did, mostly because almost all of the children that I taught, I did not end up continuing teaching them through the pandemic for a multitude of reasons. But the main is that I couldn't deal with all of the time that I was spending online already. And I just was like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. But since Austin's pretty much kind of opened up because vaccines are basically everywhere. Anyone that wants to can get one nowadays. Now I'm doing in person again.
Okay.
Which is awesome. I did virtual for probably half of the pandemic. The first half of the pandemic, I didn't do anything. And then slowly but surely people said, hey, would you be willing to, and I said, sure. And so started doing it, noticing that I don't like teaching virtually unless it's songwriting.
Okay.
But I will do it.
Yeah, I'm sure unless it's just something you set out to do, it's got to be kind of weird to try if you're just used to doing it in person. I've known people who are just, like you, they've always done it in person. So doing it, online was weird. I've had people that I'm like, have you ever thought about doing Skype lessons, just sort of extend your reach. And so they've tried it and it's like, okay, I got it. And then there's the ones who are just, they love the whole online thing. They can reach more people. They're kind of scaling it or whatever. And so, but I can appreciate that it would be strange, after doing what you'd been doing for so long.
Oh my goodness. Strange and wonderful, because then you can still connect and people can still actually get their music jonesing out, which is excellent.
Yeah.
And
no, go.
There's proof from studies that if you sing, not only does it relieve tension, but it also is just really good for your blood pressure and your heart rate and etc. So as far as I'm concerned, the second that I started back up to teaching singing and doing it mostly Zooming, but some Skyping, once that started, I started noticing that I was in a better mood.
Oh, that's nice.
And it wasn't because I was teaching, it was because I was singing more.
Yeah.
Because we basically stopped singing. I mean, unless you're going to sing in your living room, which I don't know about you, but my work got so crazy busy and there were so many new things to do that it seemed like I was working until 8:00, 9:00 every night and I just didn't have time. But when I started teaching again, I started singing again. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, my mood is really lifted.
That's good.
Yeah. Do you sing?
I do. I've been, I've been trying to sing for years. And then last year I decided I want to write and record some music. I've been thinking about recording. You can probably see I'm set up for some acoustic recording there. And I thought, for a long time, I thought I would just do it with people I'd played with in the past. But then I really can't tell you if it was pandemic driven, but I had decided it's maybe because I'm in Panama. But I thought there are all these people I'd like to record with, but I'd like to write my own thing and I would like to sing. So I put out, or I'm actually just about to release my second single ever. So I'm a newbie with the whole recording thing, but yeah, thank you. But so yes, I do. And I answered the way I did because I've never taken any lessons. So that's sort of on my agenda for the near future. So yeah.
Just so you know, the grand majority of awesome singers out there have never taken any lessons.
I'm not surprised.
You don't have to take lessons to be a great singer. The only thing that I can say to it and for it and why I believe in taking lessons is that it will take you from where you are just naturally to making you so much more aware of what you can do and learning the different places to put your sound. Because if you can get placement, then you can do so much more with your voice. Sure. And honestly, I mean, definitely take lessons if you need them, meaning for your own mind. But I bet that as long as you can sing on pitch and you've got good rhythm, which you obviously do, if you've got good pitch and good rhythm, then you can sing. Yeah.
And for me, I know it would help me to sing a little easier. I think things are a little, brute force is probably a strong word to use, but if you don't have technique, you don't have technique, and you tend, if you're a new singer like I am, for all practical purposes, you're going to make things hard on yourself. So that's what the biggest reason. But yes, of course, I hope all those other things as well from doing it, from taking lessons. So.
Crazy good. The same way that every single one of the people that are professional sporting people, they all have coaches.
Yeah, sure. And I hear, having spoken with so many musicians at different levels, I hear stories all the time, and particularly with drummers, just because I'm a little more embedded in that world of like the elite going back and doing lessons with someone, just to sort of get out of their rut or whatever they think they're in, or sort of grow a little more. So like you said, it's never ending on any instrument or whatever when you're exploring. Just the possibilities are endless. So I feel like you're on a media blitz, I think, that you just had an podcast interview released today or yesterday, right? With from Brian Wolff's podcast, Greetings from Wherever. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, I kept screwing the name of it up, and I shouldn't. I know Brian quite well, but it's a kind of a new podcast. But I kept wanting to say from anywhere or.
No, believe me, I had to look it up 3 times. I had to go onto my Instagram and go, which one is it? From nowhere? From everywhere? From I could not remember. Yeah.
So are you actively promoting some things right now, or was it just a continuation for Cupid, or what's going on?
It's the continuation for Cupid, but also. In fact, that's what the podcast was basically about how we made the video for Cupid, which was maybe the funnest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I'm really not in it. The video
answers.
Do you want me to quick run through it?
The umbrella about them, like who, how do you know them? How do they fall into the picture?
First of all, they have my heart. They're so joyful and adorable. I can't even believe it. Adorable is probably not a good word. That nobody wants to be called adorable, unless they're a dog. Anyway, so this is how I know them. When I first moved to Los Angeles, my brother Sam Winch, the lullabideer, who you probably looked up on Spotify and etc., he was working in Westwood at one of the huge theaters as an usher.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is years ago, right? We were like teenagers. And he met another usher whose name is Mark Mendonca. And turns out Mark was a tap dancer and was in Los Angeles with 2 other tap dancers doing a 3-man tap dancing
review.
Yeah, to try and even keep on getting more and more bigger gigs, etc. Yeah. So there's this guy who is amazing. We of course became fast friends because you can't help but hang out with. If you're good people, you hang out with good people, and that's just it's easy. So got to know him. Started singing with Crazy Cat George, the a cappella group. And his wife, he ended up dating and then marrying a wonderful dancer named Veronica. Mendonca is her last name. And she is a choreographer and ballerina. Well, actually all around dancer, but she was also on point. I don't even remember what those are, what it's called when you're like super hyper good ballerina lady.
Prima ballerina.
Thank you. And so
maybe
they were together and she was putting on a show, a huge show of all kinds of music. And she asked our a cappella group to sing for her show as part, like we were the music for it, which was, that was so exciting and fun and etc. So we got to be really good friends with these 2. And they ended up moving up to Seattle years ago. Crazy Cat George dissolved. I ended up moving to Austin, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just after Cupid had been recorded and finished, I got a call from Mark. He was like, Mendonca? I'm trying to get a hold of your brother. Yes, Mark Mendonca. He said, I'm trying to get a hold of your brother. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Any crazy chance you'd want to help me by dancing in my video? And he was like, okay, well, what do you need? And I said, well, first of all, I would love to have you tap in it. And he's the tap dancer at the very beginning, the tap dancing shoes.
I got to go back and watch it. Like what's stuck in my head is the girls with the umbrellas.
Oh, because they're it's so good. So, and I said, but what I want to do is I want someone to choreograph the chorus. I would like the chorus to be choreographed each time that it comes around. I want the same thing to be happening, just simply so that it might even be something that you could learn the dance of. because, I mean, how fun if someone could learn the dance and get on TikTok and next thing you know, everybody knows my song and blah, 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 blah. So Mark said, I can't do it, but I'm pretty sure Veronica would be interested. Here's her number, give her a call. I called Veronica. She said, that sounds so fun. I can't even believe it. She created an example for me that was in the studio. And I am not kidding. I cried.
Oh,
I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then, of course, they filmed it. Her son filmed it. Her daughter is the lead dancer. They edited the whole thing, put it together, that chorus portion. All I had to do was hand it off to my editor that did the rest of the portions, which were my friends doing videos. That's how it happened. It was all love. It was just love. It was just big buckets of love. All kinds of people saying, why not? I'll try it. I'll dance in a cranberry bog. Did you see that? Is that not the funnest?
I had to go back and look at you.
Oh, you had to watch it.
There's a lot of different things happening. And now I'm remembering why I forgot the tap dancer. So I was listening to Cupid again on Spotify, and then I'm like, I want to see the video because I remember you had that in your email signature, and the video popped up. It had popped up from where I paused from watching it last time, so I missed the beginning, but I see the girls and I see a lot of your friends on there. I figured there were some of your friends on there, so
yes,
so I'll have to go back. But there's a lot of people in it in general, so yeah.
Because I didn't want me to be, I'm whatever. I'm cute as a button. But at the same time, I'm like, nobody cares to see me. What people want to see are things that bring joy, or that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, I'm looking at myself. I'm kind of done looking at myself. I've done it all year long. All I ever do is Zoom and Skype and go to, I'm done. I can't stand even looking at this mug any longer. So I was like, I would love to have something where I could say these are all the people that had heart and courage enough, because it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there on film. Yeah. Even my mother-in-law did it.
Oh, that's right. All your friends, because I'm thinking of the dancers going, what are you talking about? Those kids are all hams. They're just out there having a good time doing it.
But it's just, anyway, it was a delightful, it was from love and made in love. And it just was so fun for me. And of course, that sounds crazy because it's not a child. But at the same time, that's what it felt like to me. It felt like a big, beautiful birth.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts, and I really love hearing stories about how videos are done, particularly when they involve a number of people. I was going to try and do one for my first song here in Panama, and I had this great videographer, and I thought I'm going to have an actor in it. I was like you. I'm like, I was thinking of just cameoing in it, but I was going to have a female actor in it. And I found a girl, and then I had to find another one. And then I'm like, okay, this is, I had a script. I scripted it and everything. Well, yeah. And I had like all these, it was about a half a dozen locations, but I realized I'd created a monster basically. So I'm like, maybe I'll revisit this later. And it's, so that one never happened. I just did a lyric video and I haven't done anything for the new one yet, but I love hearing the stories. One of my favorite episodes on this podcast is with a guy from Oak Cliff, which is in Dallas Fort Worth, Ezra Van Sil, and he does some amazing videos. And yeah, we talked about, I asked him like, how do you get, how do you pay all these people? He goes, oh, nobody's getting paid. He said one person's getting paid, and he talked about actually a friend from a nonprofit talked to him about like pulling together people. So he walks through it really nicely, and his videos are wonderful. And so they're not all that way. Sometimes it's like him, and now he's doing stuff with his daughter. And so sometimes it's just them. Yeah, you'd like him. I'll have to send you his stuff. And the first video that caught my attention, which is how I ended up talking to him. But okay, so you're at the tail end of Cupid. You're doing the podcast circuit, and what else were you thinking? Was it all for Cupid, or were there some other things going on that you were trying to get out into the world?
I have, I think, 3 more tracks that are going to be separate singles. Nice. The next single, I basically I don't want a video of me. What I do want is all of the people that I know who are great artists in whatever way that they are. Like, for instance, Mark and Veronica, Mark doing the tap dancing, Veronica and the kids doing the video and the choreography and etc. for Cupid. And I thought about it, and all of a sudden it hit me that I know this amazing photographer / videographer who the second song is called Heidi Ho. That will be my second release. And it is basically all about, it's a waltz. And it's kind of a sea shanty waltz, and it has to do with sailing. And because of that, I was like, I know someone who is amazing and who may actually be willing to put this together, where we could utilize all of her photos and her videos to make the video for this song. And so I said, would you be interested? And she was like, oh my God, that's the funnest thing ever. So I cannot wait to release that one, because though I love the song, the way she put the videos together is so beautiful. It's just beautiful. The song is beautiful too, but more than anything, I was like, oh my gosh. I cry. I just keep on crying. I keep on crying by all these people doing all these fun things for me. But at the same time, it's completely worth it, because then they get to do what they're good at. You know, how fun that you get to like share passions with people, even if it's not even what you do. I made the music, but she did the video and the artistic way that all of the pictures come in. It's so beautiful. I can't wait it'll be out soon.
I can't wait to hear it.
and then our next one is going to be has to do with pets.
But with pets?
Pets.
Okay.
Like the animals that you love that sleep on your bed with you.
There's a Spanish word I use frequently for pets, mascotas, which is like mascots. That's what they call them, pets. And
mascotas.
I'll be speaking in English, but I'll use the word mascotas whenever my animals.
Of course, because you love them so much. And you just want to go, I love you. So yeah, that'll be
they're my little boat anchors.
Oh, of course. They hold you to the ground so that you don't float away into Crazyville. Or at least that's what they do for me.
No, I meant, they're the ones that require me to do the extra planning anytime I want to go anywhere, whether it's outside the house or outside the country.
That's true. How many do you have?
I love them. We have two. We have a cat that came with us from California, and then we rescued a dog in this town called El Valle. It's a pretty neat town. It's rural. It's in a volcanic caldera, extinct caldera. Cool. And so it's super tropical, super rainy, and super green. But he was living on the streets there, and so we got him. He's a cool dog.
Is he little?
He's kind of medium. He's about 34 pounds, and he looks kind of like a racing dog with big ears. He's got the body, the chest, and like small interior like a racing dog.
Yeah.
But he's got crazy spots all over him. I'll send you a picture. He's pretty funny looking.
I'll send you a picture of my dog then too.
Sounds good. Well, what's the strategy for what is the goal or the strategy for the singles, the 3 singles? So you did Cupid in February. You have one that's about to come out this month in May?
I think that we're going to do it in June.
Okay.
But not May, simply because of timing. Yeah.
Hey, I thought I'd do one a month. I did my first one January 8th, and May 29 is officially the release date of my second one. And I had it. It's just like I was doing these.
You've stopped.
Yeah. And just for the song itself, there are so many different things you can do to lead up to it. So I was been experimenting with different things. And so anyway, here we are. End of May, it'll be out. But okay. So that's cool.
So June. And then I think we're probably going to do either September or October for the third song. But the third song, I'm hesitate to even give a date, because I'm afraid that the video is going to take a little bit longer than either of these other two. I could be wrong. Just because, anyway, I could be wrong. I don't know. We're just slowly but surely putting them out because it's really fun. And I got to a certain point in my life where I was like, wow, I really have a big body of work. And I haven't even released all of the body of work, not because I don't love it, but because it's kind of expensive to release all of it. And if you're not going to do it because you're releasing it because you're going on tour, it started becoming just piling up all. And then I was like, I don't even want to record because that's expensive and what for? But then I got to a point where I was like, dang, this is what I do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
This is what I do. Not only do I need to record them, I need to release them. And so we started, 2011 was my last, it's a long time ago, was my last full release.
I saw that. I'm like, oh, wow. I see that a lot, by the way. You've got these artists who've been doing it for a while, and then there's like a 10-year period, which I didn't even ask you about. So you're about to probably tell me. So
well,
2011.
Every single one of these songs that have, like, from Cupid moving forward, we recorded 6, and they are all that old. And in the meantime, I recorded a whole other album, produced, mixed, everything, and I just never released it because I was like, so slowly but surely we're putting them in there.
So some of the songs originated in 2011. Is that what you just said?
Yep. Wow. Cupid, probably, oh God, I don't even remember when I wrote it, but it was between 2011 and a year ago.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Probably if I ask around, that is a very common theme. I was just thinking, I love, like, I'm sure you have these artists that you just like, you're very fascinated with their careers and the little things that have happened. And I love hearing these stories of, oh yeah, that hit single that we put out last year was actually recorded in a session about 5 years ago that was for this album, but now it's here, So
no, it happens all the time.
It started out as a reggae song, but not.
Right. And then we started finger picking and someone added a violin. Yeah, it's crazy. It's also, that's kind of the beauty of owning your own stuff and recording your own stuff, is that you get to choose. You get to say, I don't like it. I'm going to re-record it a different way. Or this is awesome, and I'm not going to release it for 5 years. So
I don't
know. I feel really lucky. I love what we do, what I get to do. I feel so fortunate that it's still something that's in my life.
I yearn to do it more, but I'm happy that I'm doing it.
Me too. I also think I have to say, good on you. I mean, you're a badass that you're doing the.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. Good job.
Thank you. Well, Brian, sort of made it easy. He introduced us, Brian Wolff. I forgot why I had to reschedule it. Maybe because I was out of town, but thank you I realized today, I'm like, oh yeah, we rescheduled it. So thanks for doing that.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Thank you for even having me on. I kind of feel sometimes, I don't know. I just a little tiny bit feel like I shouldn't be on. You know what I mean? Like, you should find someone way cooler, way younger and way more like hip. But at the same time, I do have to say thank you. I do appreciate it.
Of course.
I appreciate that you're even willing to be interested in what I have to say.
Well, Brian spoke very highly of you, and I listened to your work. I really like it. And you just, I could feel the good energy before we even got to meet today. So that's all a plus, all a plus.
Amen.
Well, best of luck on your next release. Yeah. And I know that everyone can find you at TanyaWinch.com. Is there anything else you want them to see? It seems like they can find everything you do from there, but is there a better place?
Just the Instagram, Tanya Winch Music, Facebook, Tanya Winch Music, and then Spotify.
Well, good luck. And I will talk to you soon. And thanks for doing the live stream thing here with me. I hope that the few people that watch it will enjoy it.
I hope so too. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I feel kind of cool. Now I can say I've done a live stream. Can I ask one more quick question? Because I know that we're way over.
That's my fault.
How did you even decide to do this?
The podcast?
Yeah.
It started with a book, and
That you wrote?
Yeah, so a book on that's. The book is intended to help musicians who are like trying to get, more gigs, better gigs. And it's really just a telling of a story of how I was able to, and I would always have been like a part-time musician, but I was always able to play with whoever and, whenever I wanted to, getting paid. And I saw people that, some of my peers, not all of them. And obviously because of the podcast, I met so many people that have done a lot more than I ever did in that realm. But, and this is just as a gigging drummer, subbing in bands and playing in my own bands. And anyway, meeting all these great people, playing all these lovely venues. But then I met another guy who's basically like a coach for online marketers. And he says, Roberto, you need a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I might like that.
Do. Oh, I might do that.
But I really enjoy the whole interview thing. And It's a really wonderful way to learn things. I mean, a lot of these questions are pretty selfish, conversations and questions. So I get to learn. But I mean, the whole premise of it is to help other people too. So the idea is that the conversations are helpful when people, hear your stories. So that's how it started. Yeah. And you're today, episode 200, boink, dropped.
What? So, hey, wait. What's your book called?
The Unstarving Musician's Guide to Getting Paid Gigs.
Okay. That's why your podcast is called The Unstarving Musician.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Can I get it on Amazon?
You can.
Where else can I get it?
There is.
Your website?
Yeah. So on my website, yes, you definitely would see it there. It's funny. I was trying to remember this platform. There's a platform that distributed it to various other ebook platforms. The paperback is on Amazon, but you can get it on a number of digital platforms. Kobo.com is the one I think that sort of helped me get it out to a lot of other ones, but it's on Amazon. So I think that's where most people buy. So.
Okay. Awesome. I'm going to go right onto it and read it because.
Oh, well, thank you.
Now I'm really interested. Unless it's like 1,000 pages.
Oh no, it's a short read. In fact, I'm really anxious to do a second edition. I'm not even positive. I mean, I've been working on it for a while now, but I'm not even positive it'll end up being a second edition so much as another book because, again, this is just like gigging drummer talking about how I did it. And it's a relatively simple story about relationships, but they're between what happened to us last year as musicians and then talking to a lot of people, many of whom are full-time or they were just doing things in ways that I couldn't even imagine before I started the podcast. So there's a lot more to write about. So I'm anxious to do that. But anyway, yes, thank you for the gesture, and I hope you enjoyed if you get it. And if nothing else, send me a pic. Hey, I got it.
Right. Wait, and are you on Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, because then I will put the pic of me holding the book on Instagram.
You're sweet. I am. Yes, you'll see me there. As the anyway, I know where you are there, so you'll see me there.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go and try and find you right now and follow.
Well, thanks.
Yes,
and
of course.
Pleasure talking with you. I will be in touch.
Great. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Have a lovely weekend. I recently asked over 50 podcasters the following question. What's the number one reason that the startup of your podcast was delayed? Among the most common themes in their responses were fear, procrastination, and tech. What if I told you it doesn't have to be so hard? What if I gave you the confidence and tools you needed to start your podcast today? If you want to share expertise, dig deep into a special interest, help others, get more people to visit your blog, expand your personal brand, grow your network, then podcasting might be for you, and this course might be for you. Podcast Startup covers tech, which includes gear and software, hosting, editing, format options, marketing, and more. To learn more about this course created by yours truly and the Unstarving Musician, just go to unstarvingmusician.com/podcast startup. This episode was powered by Bandzoogle, the platform for musicians and bands to build their website and manage direct-to-fan marketing and sales. Bandzoogle features powerful design options, a commission-free store to sell music, merch, and tickets, detailed fan data, integrations with social networks, and more. Plans start at just $8.29 a month, which includes a free custom domain name. Try it at bandzoogle.com and use the promo code ROBONZO, ROBONZO, to get 15% off your first year. That's bandzoogle.com, promo code ROBONZO. This episode is also powered by ConvertKit. Remember the old days of collecting email addresses at the merch table with a notebook and pen? Now that notebook has gone digital, so you can promote your music everywhere and keep fans both old and new in the know. And you can do it with ConvertKit. Use landing pages designed for musicians to create an easy way to promote your next album, embed your music videos, and link out to social platforms and places to download music. Don't rent your audience, own it with an email list. Visit unstarvingmusician.com/convert to create your free account today. You'll be supporting the podcast in the process. Did you know you can help other independent artists find this podcast by subscribing on Apple Podcast or wherever you are listening to your podcast these days? It really does help, so I hope you will consider it. The Unstarving Musician podcast is made possible through the support and generosity of listeners like you. One of the easiest ways to support the podcast, if you're a musician, is to join the Unstarving Musician community, which you can do at, you guessed it, unstarvingmusician.com. In joining the community, you get tips and insights you can use in your music journey that comes not only from me and my years of experience, but also from the hundreds of other musicians that I speak to as part of the Unstarving Musician project and podcast. Plus, you'll get a free copy of my Unstarving Musician's Guide to Getting Paid Gigs ebook, the official version, and that's all for free just for being part of the community. You can learn about other ways of offering support by visiting the Unstarving Musician crowd sponsor page at unstarvingmusician.com/crowd sponsor. And if you have feedback, please go to unstarvingmusician.com to get all my contact info. You can text me, call me, email me, leave a voice message right there on that page. Just go down to the bottom of the page and you'll find everything you need to know. I really would love to hear any of your comments, suggestions, questions, whatever you've got. And you can find links to just about everything talked about in this episode at unstarvingmusician.com/podcast. All right, I'm peacing out. Thank you for listening and sharing with your musician friends and fellow indie music fans. Peace, gratitude, and a whole lot of love.